everything, and I will put a yoke of iron upon your neck. I will destroy you completely. A nation will come against you from afar and from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, and in hunger and in thirst, in nakedness and in need of everything, and I will put a yoke of iron upon your neck. I will destroy you completely. A nation will come against you from afar and from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, and they will devour you. A nation whose language, English, you will not understand. They will destroy you completely. Is your language originally English? But I am the Lord your God. I will destroy you, that even your language will no longer know it. So says the Lord of hosts. A nation of false countenance, which does not respect the elderly, nor show favor to the young, like the British. They will come after you, they will decimate you, and they will destroy you. They will not give a damn about your old. They will eat your livestock and produce and leave you none. Everything you have, they are bound to take, and you will have nothing. You will be plucked off from your land, which you go to possess. Even your own land, they will take away from it, and they will take it from you. We are banned from even our own land, isn't it? Why is it that they will tell you, if you want to come to your land, you have to go through Lagos and through Kano and Abuja? You can't even come into your own land. They want to discourage you from going back to the land of your ancestors. This is the funniest one. You will be scattered amongst all people, from one end of the earth to another. I will scatter you. Not even among nations, but among people. That is why wherever you go to, won't you find Biafrans there? It's a curse. It's a curse. I will scatter you. Not even among people, ordinary people. Wherever there are people, you must be there. It's a curse I've placed upon you. There are some in China, they no longer go back home. And people are very happy living in other people's country because you have no shame. When I used to live in England, I used to feel ashamed all the time. I will go to look for a job that I know I am more than qualified to do. They will say, oh, due to one reason or the other, they will employ a white person. And somebody will say to me, why don't you write and protest? I say, no, I won't. It's not my country. Anything they like, they can do. Because we lack sense of pride and honor. I will scatter you amongst the peoples of the world. You were taken from everywhere to everywhere, and today you are worth nothing. And there you will bow before wooden gods that neither your ancestors have known. The God you were taught to know and love by white people is not the same Chukwuabiama you once worshipped. Everything is pure rubbish. And I said, I will preach this gospel. You know me, I preach the truth. I don't give a damn, I don't give a toss. Every Sunday, what you're worshiping is not the true God in heaven. That is what the scripture says, not man. Some of you will say, oh, leave it now. We are doing very well, but you are suffering. All the curses we have read out here will be upon you and your families and generations yet unborn. Ask the senator. If the senator said that they will shoot the son dead by the same policeman in the zoo, he will say no. But today he's burying a son. Okoro is his name. Shot dead. You exchange the everlasting covenant and laws of the Most High for the thing they brought you from Europe. And today you are suffering. And they have taken possession of everything that you have. Isn't it very funny? Isn't it very, very funny? Righteousness was exchanged for prosperity. Truth exchanged for lies. You became liars. You shall find no rest among those nations. You will tremble in your heart and in your anguish as you're coming here. You will be afraid that police will stop you on the way. It's in the scriptures. Open search. Even in America, are we safe anywhere? In China, there are some people planning to call police for their own brothers in China. So that when I'm broadcasting, the police will come and arrest people. They will go about and say, oh, wherever director goes to, nobody should come because police will arrest you. We know them, and they cannot come to Biafra land. Maybe they come there, they will die. They know that very well. You will find no rest in Malaysia. No peace of mind. You will hang in doubt all the time. As you leave your house, you don't know if police will come and arrest you and immigration will come. You will live in fear day and night. You will have no assurance of life if you will see tomorrow or not. All these things are in the scriptures. Of course, the book of Deuteronomy. It is very, very sad indeed, but it is true. Is this the paranoia of our ancestors experienced in America? Even everywhere, including Martin Luther King, everybody was in a big, big mess. In hunger and in thirst, in nakedness and in need of everything, and I will put a yoke of iron upon your neck. I will destroy you completely. A nation will come against you from afar and from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, and they will devour you. A nation whose language, English, you will not understand. They will destroy you completely. Is your language originally English? But I am the Lord your God. I will destroy you, that even your language will no longer know it. So says the Lord of hosts. A nation of fair countenance, which does not respect the elderly, nor show favor to the young, like the British. They will come after you, they will decimate you, and they will destroy you. They will not give a damn about your old. They will eat your livestock and produce and leave you none. Everything you have, they are bound to take, and you will have nothing. You will be plucked off from your land, which you go to possess. Even your own land, they will take away from it, and they'll take it from you. We are banned from even our own land, isn't it? Why is it that they will tell you, if you want to come to your land, you have to go through Lagos and through Kano and Abuja? You can't even come into your own land. They want to discourage you from going back to the land of your ancestors. This is the funniest one. You will be scattered amongst all people, from one end of the earth to another. I will scatter you. Not even among nations, but among people. That is why wherever you go to, won't you find Biafrans there? It's a curse. It's a curse. I will scatter you. Not even among people, ordinary people. Wherever there are people, you must be there. It's a curse I've placed upon you. There are some in China, they no longer go back home. And people are very happy living in other people's country because you have no shame. When I used to live in England, I used to feel ashamed all the time. I will go to look for a job that I know I am more than qualified to do. They will say, oh, due to one reason or the other, they will employ a white person. And somebody will say to me, why don't you write and protest? I say, no, I won't. It's not my country. Anything they like, they can do. Because we lack sense of pride and honor. I will scatter you amongst the peoples of the world. You we are taken from everywhere to everywhere, and today you are what nothing. And there you will bow before wooden gods that neither your ancestors have known. The God you were taught to know and love by white people is not the same Chukwuabiama you once worshipped. Everything in Emena is pure rubbish. And I said, I will preach this gospel. You know me, I preach the truth. I don't give a damn, I don't give a toss. Every Sunday, what you're worshiping is not the true God in heaven. That is what the scripture says, not man. Some of you will say, oh, leave it now. We are doing very well, but you are suffering. All the curses we have read out here will be upon you and your families and generations yet unborn. Ask the senator. If the senator said that they will shoot the son dead. By the same policeman in the zoo, he will say no. But today he's burying a son. Okoro is his name. Shot dead. You exchange the everlasting covenant and laws of the Most High for the thing they brought you from Europe. And today you are suffering. And they have taken possession of everything that you have. Isn't it very funny? Isn't it very, very funny? Righteousness was exchanged for prosperity. Truth exchanged for lies. You became liars. You shall find no rest among those nations. You will tremble in your heart and in your anguish as you're coming here. You be afraid that police will stop you on the way. It's in the scriptures. Open search again. As long as we come on air every evening, the whole world must listen. As long as we preach this very gospel, Chukwokika Abiyama must be with us. Therefore, without any further hesitation, we must proceed to offer every prayer to Chukwu Okike Abiyama who resided in heaven. Therefore, as we always commence, not from today, but from of old, our Father who art in heaven, that your name may be hallowed by men, that we may bow at the mention of it, that we may offer every glory unto thee, that we may offer you every adoration and adulation, because there is none like thee. You fight our battles for us. Every blessed day you demonstrate through your kindness and your everlasting mercy that you are our Lord, our God, and our Creator. This evening we offer these your children unto thee all over this very planet that you created. They are listening across the entire 24 time zones on this very planet where they inhabit. They are listening to your gospel this very evening, this gospel of redemption, a gospel of hope, a gospel of restoration, a gospel of renewal, this very gospel of freedom, this very gospel of emancipation as only you ordained. That this very gospel must be preached, that mankind may be set free from the eternal damnation of the creation of the British. My goodness me, I want to remain in the spirit, because we must worship heaven. We answer your name, O Lord of hosts. Everything about us is designed to offer glory unto thee. We have atoned for our sins last year. This very year we have not only atoned for our sins, we have spilled, we have shed blood, they have shed our blood. We have let our sacrifice be made unto thee. Even on the 30th of August, as we are being felled by the bullets of the enemy, by the workers of iniquity and of darkness, we remain very strong today to beckon upon thee, to ask you for your mercy and for your grace, to ensure that your kingdom is restored upon the face of the earth, that you can bring your healing hand to bear upon the life of those of them that you created for one singular purpose, and that purpose alone, which is to worship you in truth and in every honesty. Is there any way that we have erred? Is there any way that our ancestors may have sinned? We confess before a congregation of the whole of humanity to ask you, O Lord of hosts, to have mercy upon us. You must have mercy upon us. We have suffered enough. We have been subjugated enough. We have been tortured enough. We have been imprisoned enough. We did not do these people anything. Our only crime is to answer your name. Our only crime is to be born your children. Our only crime is to excel at everything that we place our hands into. Our only crime is to exhibit your glory and your blessing, which manifestedly is upon our lives every blessed day. That is why they want to kill us. That is why the British want to join those of them who don't know you to destroy your creation and your inheritance. You will not allow shame to befall your name. You will not allow the enemies to triumph over the lives of your children, because you created us to exist, to worship, to honor, and to praise you. That is exactly what we are going to do when this Biafra comes. It will come in truth and in every honesty, because we remain every blessed day whiter than white and whiter than snow. Is there any way that we have sinned that you cannot forgive us our trespasses, to enable us to fulfill your own word, which was spoken thousands of years ago, that instead of what you promised not to come to pass, that heaven and earth will cease to exist. You opened your mouth to bless mankind to the coming of Yahweh Yeshua, who came here and said, let your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Those words can never be in vain, because they are anchored upon your holiness and your magnificence. That is why in the end we know that Biafra will come, that these children that we have given birth to all over the world, and their children, and their children, and their children, as long as they give birth to them and they are Biafrans, they will worship you in truth and honesty. Through this very work we are doing, mankind will come to understand you. Let your miracle be wrought in our lives. Let us witness and behold your magnificence, your holiness, your mystery, and your grace under our command. O Lord of hosts, we call upon you. We call upon you to heal. We call upon you to provide succor to those of them who are inconsolable. We ask you to come and strengthen those who are weak. We ask you to restore hope where there is hopelessness. We ask you for inclusion where there is destitution. We ask you for one brotherhood, one camaraderie, one bone, one blood, and one flesh of your children, the Efiks and the Bibios, the Izon, the Shekiri, the Isobos, and also those of them from Isoko. We are traveling all the way to the lands of Igala. We are moving on from there to Idoma, to Igede, to the territories of the Igbo land. All these places we dedicate unto thee. All these lands of yours, we ask you to cover it with your mercy, because Biafra will come, and when it does, we will dance on the streets. I'm telling you, by the time that we are done, humanity will think that we are mad, we are drunk in your glory, and rightfully so, because your kingdom will come to rest upon this very earth. That very kingdom is the unadulterated, non-negotiable sovereignty of the Republic of Biafra, that your will may be fulfilled in our time. All this we pray, all this we ask for, in no other name apart from that name that belongs to you. He said, my name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of indigenous people of Biafra all over this very planet, I tell you. I lead indigenous people of Biafra IPOB. So also do I command the armies of Biafra. They are fiercely loyal. They are loyal, I tell you, and doing the work that I expect them to do. I also direct Radio Biafronia Wemna Chineke, not through any power which I possess or any extraordinary knowledge, but by your grace, O Lord. By your grace, Chukwukika Biama. We honor you and we adore you. I know that some people listening, including the British, may not understand what we are doing. But there is nobody in Britain that answers Nwachukwu, the child of heaven. We do. Therefore, when we worship our Father, people should not try to be jealous. They should not feign ignorance or misunderstanding, because we are ancient people. We have been doing this for over 5,000 years and will continue to do so until the end of time.
All hail the all hail the
There. You started by saying, I will be like Robert Rico.
Yeah,
Somebody said,
because
someone asked, will I be like Robert Rico? Or that this is another Robert Rico? Is that correct?
Yes.
So how would you know when somebody is not Robert Rico?
His actions.
Huh? How would you know when somebody is not Robert Rico? So will the person be born and written on his forehead is say, this baby is not Robert Rico?
No.
Then you know. How do you know that? Have I done anything to show that I'm in the same league as Rodrigo?
No.
Then why should that question come up? You see, because you do not know where help will come from. It's because we don't trust ourselves. It's because we think that we are all criminals. That is what happens in real life. The reason why when you go to Timber Shade back home to go and buy a plant, somebody will cheat you. It's because the person thinks that you yourself are a rogue. Because everybody is a criminal. They think the next person must surely be a criminal. Do you like it when they stop you with a Nigerian passport and put you to one side and say you're a criminal? The pastor.
No.
Don't you complain? Then why would any human being compare me to Wazirike? Are they blind? Can't they see? Can Wazirike do what I have done?
No.
It's impossible. Not in a billion years. He can't do it. He cannot bring out himself like this to be questioned.
Sure.
Can he do that?
No.
Oh my boy and Andrew. He can't write it. If I was Rike's boy, what a way to put a statement in a civilized world. Do you feed me?
No.
How can I be your boy if you don't feed me? Yeah? Your boy is somebody you feed. After 7 years, you give them money to go open their own shop. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
If you're not feeding me, how can I be your boy? Or if I'm the one feeding you, are you not my boy?
Sure.
These are all, I call it very low basement agro talk. When people speak, you know they're not educated. Because some of you are here, you left what you're doing to come and see me. Then you're my boys. Are you my boy?
No.
We are all servants of Biafra. The reason why you came is because of the work I do for our country. Any day I stop doing that work, I will come to Zurich, you will not come. Unless I call you and tell you that I have money to share with you, then you come. I serve my country. All of us, we are deceived. You know me, any day you say Biafra is happening, I will go there. I won't even ask questions, I will go until I'm deceived. I have served everybody. I said everybody. The who is who in our land, I have served them. But no, you don't say it here today, but I campaigned for P2B. Don't you know that? I was at the front campaigning, leading protest on the streets of London. Because I don't talk, I do things. I come to it. The people are not disappointed. If you come out today and say that we have friends in the next door, let's go. If you, I don't need it. Before you get there, I have stopped everybody. Name them to do it themselves. As long as you come out, you know, in life sometimes, only those who are trusting are very easy to deceive. David. And where you coming from? Hospital. Thank you very much. This guy. Thank you.
Please, I want to announce that meeting upcoming on the beginning of July 2014. Biafrans in Oslo, we have this meeting on 12th of July 2012. All Biafrans in Oslo, Architects, Lawrence Group, and Salzburg, all transferring Oslo. We are having a meeting at Afro Restaurant, Jackman's Qatar, number 9. Time, 5 o'clock. Please, I want all Biafran Oslo. You have been lucky behind now after the rotation. Please turn up. Attend meeting. We have a lot to do. And please, all of you, please meet on this of the 12th of July 2015. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. We have people that have not spoken or given us their names here. They will come up. Our sister is here. She hasn't spoken yet. We need all of you, please. Go ahead.
I want to ask a question, not actually a question. On the 30th of May, went on demonstration in Geneva. We had a successful day. It was nice, peaceful. And now the question is, what is our next step? Well, now we are still meeting in Zurich, Alton, and Bern, and Geneva, whatever. Fine. But now the question is, where are we going to next? What are we stepping in for next? Please, can you just let us know so that we know how we are. Please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Does anybody here not know that we have a 3-step agenda? Is that correct? Is that correct? Yes. We have finished the stage 1. The first phase is finished.
Yep.
We're in the second phase. The second phase is to drive away all workers of iniquity in our land, so that when we go to get our freedom, you will not have people at home working with the enemy, which was what we lost in the first time. We are in the phase 2 of the struggle. And for us to successfully prosecute the phase 2 of the struggle, we need to defend our land. In other words, we need materials to defend our land against Boko Haram. We also have Boko Haram within us. You know that Boko Haram can come in many shapes and sizes. But is also Boko Haram in their own way because of what they have done to us. We need to defend our land against people coming. The phase we are in right now is to go around the world to defend, to look for help to defend our land from Islamic incursion. How do you defend yourself against somebody with AK-47? Please tell me, I don't know. How do you do it?
You have to get what he has.
Simple. Is that correct?
Yes.
No, if I'm wrong, tell me. Somebody is coming to your land, taking your mother and raping your mom with AK-47. What do you do? How do you defend your mother? Through prayer and fasting?
No. No.
As simple as that. That's exactly what we're doing. We have a caller on Skype. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, please. Your name and where you're calling from.
Okay. Hello.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
And where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, my name is Roland Carlos. I'm calling from Dakar, Senegal.
From Dakar in Senegal. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your work. Actually, I want to find out some certain things.
Go ahead.
Beyond your platform. Yes, I've been going through internet for a long time. I've been hearing about the possibilities of the aircraft stuff. Then I want to go through it for the internet. I want to know the level of the work you have been doing to achieve this your goal.
How?
Great Biafrans and wonderful people, I welcome you this evening. It is Biafra Radio. Of course, so many of you know that we have already launched Radio Biafra Homeland, and of course, it will be, active from tomorrow onwards. We still have some finishing touches to make in order for us to start airing at Radio Biafra Homeland. Radio Biafra Homeland is our own Obunigwe. And of course, we say, Radio Biafra Homeland, you are welcome home. All right, so we must continue. And this evening, I have with me, of course, a man that does not need explanation, but I will make sure that he introduce himself. Very, very important. Ihe na onye ndu na-asị ka mmadụ were aka ya bịa gịnị kpọrọ onye aka mụ. So as you are joining us this evening, begin to share this broadcast and invite your friends, invite your enemy. Everybody is invited. All right. It is Biafra Radio this evening. From tomorrow, of course, it will be Radio Biafra Homeland. Don't instead. We are just running just a little bit, and then, of course, by tomorrow, we will be good to go. All right. I want to welcome you once again. Today, of course, is the 5th day of August 2026, the year of our Lord. And of course, if you are joining us right now, the time here is 9:24 p.m. in the evening here in South Africa. And of course, I believe in Biafra land, it should be the same minutes past the top of the hour in Biafra land. My name is Barr Iiykeobed, and joining me this evening, of course, is Prince Umar Borogo. Let me get it right. It's Barrister Prince Umar Borogo. That's why I said, he will introduce himself very well. Mazi, good evening from here, if you can hear me.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, all of us are friends.
Thank you very
I don't know
much.
if
Go ahead,
I don't know if my voice is loud.
Yes, I can hear you, Mazi. You are coming out. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, Biafrans. Good evening, lovers of freedom, depending where you are. Good evening, good morning, good morning. My name is Prince Mandela Umeborogo. I am
All right.
a member of the Kale legal team.
All right. Thank you very much, Mazi, for that introduction. That's why I wanted you to introduce yourself perfectly. And of course, without wasting time, we will commence with what you have this evening. I will be asking the barrister, some questions. And then, of course, he will be answering us, As you can still hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you very well.
All right. Thank you very much, Mazi.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just waiting for the barrister to settle down so that we can continue. All right, if you are still joining, please begin to share this broadcast. The network is a bit wobbling. All right, Mazi, I hope you can hear me now. Let me continue.
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
All right, Mazi can hear me. Mazi, please, I want you to tell our listeners, because most of the people are actually, in confusion with regards to Onyendu's appeal. And of course, when we bring people like you on this show, we bring you so that you can be able to, explain to our people what is happening, where are we with the appeal, on no-to-know basis, because I know it's not everything that you will divulge, but whatever you can tell our people to put them on the right track so that they can understand, where we are with regards to Onyendu's appeal. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, learned brother. Thank you, Biafrans. Thank you, the lovers of freedom. On the aspect of the appeal of Onyendu Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, about getting to, a month and or getting to 2 months now, that we fight our brief of arguments. I don't want to take you to this, to the level that everybody know very well that we have filed appeal on the judgment of James Omotosho, the conviction and the sentencing of Mazen Nandeka, the sham trial. We have filed the appeal at the Court of Appeal, the appropriate place to fight appeal, they lodge, to lodge in the appeal, because the trial, the whole everything was a sham trial. There was no justice. It was all about injustice. From those who have or who will understand, read the judgment of the trial judge, we know that the judgments have been criticized worldwide from News and Crown, from those who understand, even the people in the streets who does not even have the knowledge of law have seen that what was done wasn't proper. It wasn't justice, but it was, like a planned deal that has been already scheduled and was carried out by someone. So on that note, we now appeal that judgment. There are stages in appealing of a judgment. When you file your notice of appeal, you serve them, the other party, which we did at the as then. We file our notice of appeal, and the federal government were properly served with that notice of appeal. Then thereafter, having filed that notice of appeal, the next stage was we now carried out the transmission of record. Transmission of record is to transmit all the documents that are necessary that will be needed, that will help the panel, the 3-man justices that are going to sit on this appeal. The trial judge was only one judge that sat and they concluded this case and give his own decision. Now at the appeal level, there are going to be 3 justices that are going to sit and look into what one man decided, whether it was proper, whether what the conclusion he reached, does it serve the justice? Was there any miscarriage of justice? Then these 3 judges will now sit and they look into it and now give their own verdict or their own judgment. So having filed that notice of appeal, we now proceeded to to transmit records that will be helping the justices to now look into what the earlier court or the trial court judge, whether from the look of all these documents, all these things forwarded to a court of appeal, is it proper for this kind of judgment to be entered? So we now file that, we now transmit our record. After we transmitted records, we now proceeded to now file our brief of arguments, which was the last thing to be done. Now, when we filed our brief of arguments, the federal government is expected, after we file and serve them our brief of arguments, they are expected to now file their response to that brief of argument. And once they are served with our own brief of arguments, in ideal state or on a normal practice, they're supposed to now file their own response immediately. But even though they did not file their own response immediately, even up to now, the law or the rules of court has a time limit within which they are supposed to file their own response to our own brief, which they have 30 days to file their own response to our brief. But that was not done. After we filed our own brief of argument and served them, probably they will wait to exhaust their time limits, which they have, which is 30 days. But haven't that 30 days elapsed, they are yet to file their own response to our own brief. This is people that rush quickly and convicted the car and sentenced him with kangaroo judgments that was given. Now they have taken you to appeal to come now and prove what you have done at the trial court. Ordinarily, you should have responded immediately if you have evidences to substantiate what you have earlier did, or the earlier judgment that was given. But they relax. They did not file their own response, their own response to our own brief until the period, the time they have elapsed. Now, haven't they failed or refused or ignored to file their own response? So before I traveled to the Sokoto last month, this July, about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks to 1 month ago, 3 weeks ago, I traveled to Sokoto. Before I travel, we now filed a motion. That motion is to now ask the Court of Appeal to now let's give dates to hear this appeal based on our brief of argument, because that is the position of law. When you file a brief of argument and the other party has 30 days to file their response, when they fail to file their response within the time stipulated for them, you have to bring a motion to the court asking the court to now hear the appeal based on your own brief, because the courts cannot wait in perpetuity, waiting for other party to now file their own brief, because there is time within which they're supposed to file their own response to our brief. But since they have not filed, we cannot fold our hands. Now, I personally went to courts who filed that motion at the Court of Appeal, asking the Court of Appeal to now hear this appeal based on our own brief, since the federal government have not filed their own response. So that is where we are now. So we will do everything possible to get a date for now, the Court of Appeal to now give date to hear that appeal based on our own brief we have filed. That is where we are now.
All right, brilliant, brilliant. I just want to ask a question here, because I know the way we practice here in South Africa is a bit different. It might be the same, but different way of doing things. Like what you've just explained, when you file, we call it heads of argument, which you also mentioned here, but with a different name. When you file your heads of argument, and then of course the respondent did not respond, timelessly, as they're supposed to respond, then what we normally do here is we file a notice of bar. And that notice of bar is more like asking the court to bar them from what? Filing, because they have exceeded the time limit. So is there any notice that you file in Nigeria to stop the respondent to file when they have already exceeded their time limit of filing? I don't know if this makes sense.
Actually, here, the first step you take is when they fail to file their response to the brief, you will now file a motion to the courts, now asking the courts to now hear the appeal based on your brief. That means that if the court now give dates and these people, the respondent did not file anything, it means that they have consented, they have admitted, they have
Absolutely.
now relied and said that what we are saying is true, because any evidence that was uncontroverted means it is true, and the court will take it as it is. So if they felt up to the time that the court will now hear this appeal and they did not file their response, so be it. Then the court will now decide the case based on our own arguments, because they were given opportunity to file their own response, but they failed. But normally here, sometimes, they take that delay. Sometimes when they will come, they will now come with a motion, filing their own brief, asking the courts, deeming it extension of time within which to now file brief, and deeming order, haven't filed, out of time, and asking the courts, to grant that application and deeming the brief as being filed as proper. So in most cases, courts always, give them that opportunity to file out of time, then and proceed to hear the appeal. But in the other case, in other ways, where they failed, even up to the time the court will give a date, to hear the appeal, and they did not find anything. Good. Court will now go ahead and hear the appeal based on the applicant's brief of argument, and enter judgment, as well.
All right, brilliant. All right, thank you very much for that. Dear friends, if you are joining us, I am here, of course, chatting to Barrister Praise Ume Boroko. He is elected counsel to Onyendumazi Nnamdi Kanu, and he's explaining to us with regards to the appeal or the pending appeal of Onyendu in the Court of Appeal. And I believe if you can invite others to listen, so that tomorrow you will not know what is going on with regards to Onyendu appeal matter. All right, Mazi, let's go back to what happened in court during the matter of Onyendu, because what I know is that when an accused person elects to defend themselves, it is expected of the judge to assist them in many ways possible, because they know this person is not a lawyer, and because he wants to, defend himself or stand in for himself, which is, by the way, is his fundamental human right, which you cannot take away from him. But the judge is expected to assist. But from what I saw in Onyendu's matter, the judge, instead of assisting, was making life difficult for him, not even giving him a chance to speak, which I can see as a traversal of judgment. He did not accord him that benefit of somebody who's not a learned person in terms of being a lawyer, who's trying to represent himself. Even the things that he was supposed to do, like his, argument and everything, he denied him those. And when Mazenam the Kano, of course, who we may call not the learned person, but he is very acquainted with law. He understands his rights. When he was pushing for those rights to be afforded to him, he was now labeled as somebody who's disrupting the proceedings. What is your take on that? Because I believe that will form part of the appeal. Go ahead, Mansi.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. Um, Here in Nigeria, here, when an accused person is standing a trial, most especially in a capital offense cases that carries capital punishments, um, the courts will always ensure that that accused person is being represented with a legal practitioner of a legal practitioner. Now, where the accused person has no legal practitioner, the court will now, because it's a capital offense, is the accused person is facing trial with, the courts will now impose a legal practitioner, a lawyer, on him to represent him in that trial. But in the case of Mazen Nandekalo, we know that at a point, Mazen Nandekalo now said he will represent himself. Then that he will represent himself, it is the duty of the courts to say, you want to represent yourself in this capital offense, you are facing a trial of a capital offense that carries, if it's convicted, most of the offenses carries death sentence, life imprisonment, as you can see. Therefore, the court will impose a legal practitioner, to now defend him, to now represent him. Even though where the accused person said no, he doesn't want a legal practitioner, the court will, impose a legal practitioner. That is why sometimes in cases you see where an accused person, after taking his plea, he now asks, in a capital offense, he now asks guilty or not guilty. If that accused person says guilty, the court will enter not guilty for him to go into trial, because probably the court sees that most of the times the person who is standing trial, he now enters guilty in a capital offense. He might really not understood what he's saying. Then the court will now enter not guilty for him and commence trial, most of that in a capital offenses. Now, the same thing applicable when someone is standing trial in a capital offense and there has no legal practitioner, a lawyer to represent him. The court will impose, even when he says he doesn't want, the court will impose a lawyer for him to be represented. So, but during the trial of Mazen Nandekalo, the trial went on after Mazen Nandekalo said he want to defend himself in a capital offense of that nature. And even the courts now relied on that. He said he want to represent himself, and they go ahead and conduct the trial without even giving him, even though he's representing himself, even when he's shouting that he wants to file his final written address, he was, yes, the courts refused. Even the other, the prosecution never fights written address, final written address. These are very germane and mandatory for after the parties have closed their cases, they file their final written address some certain issues. But even when Mazinaga was saying that he want to file his final written address, the court said he refused to, enter defense. How can he say he refused to enter defense when he have already led evidences, cross-examine the prosecution witnesses, demolish them during cross-examination? Nothing all their witnesses said that was standing. It was demolished, destroyed during cross-examination. And he said he didn't enter into his defense. How is it when he now begin to call his own witnesses? It means that he have entered defense. But when he now cross-examine all the prosecution witnesses, now and asked and said, even the accused person may choose not to call any witnesses. It is his right. Then he will not say because if he chooses not to call witnesses, therefore he have not entered defense. No. So at the end of the whole thing, he will find his final written address and address some certain issues. Probably during cross-examination of the prosecution witnesses, he addressed a lot of issues, how their evidences were controverted, demolished, and hold no water. But he was bad, he was foreclosed, he was shut off to file a final written address, and the court went ahead and convicted him and sentenced him as well. So we can see that all these things are issues at the Court of Appeal, are issued for the appeal to, for the justices to now look into and see whether all these things are right or not. So
Thank you very much, Mazi. Now, let's talk about the issue of the extraordinary rendition. Will it form part of this appeal, or have we got past that? Which, in my own opinion, I don't think so. Talk to me about the extraordinary rendition, which we believe there shouldn't have been a trial in the first place, but somehow it happened.
Yes, the issue of extraordinary rendition, that's supposed to be the bedrock of it, and that was why when we were at the trial court before Justice Iiykeobed, when Aloy Ejimako was the lead counsel after the case was returned back to trial court from Supreme Court. The issue of extraordinary rendition was upheld at the Court of Appeal when that extraordinary rendition, which was propounded and written by Aloy Ejimako, who brought the issue of extraordinary rendition here. Throughout that period, I was with Aloy Ejimako. I worked closely with him. We prepared everything day and night, even when the previous lawyers that were, handling the case never wanted that extraordinary rendition. They opposed it vehemently. They said they criticize it with all full force. But, little did they know that that is the bedrock, and the Mazen Nandekala are not supposed to stand trial as long as extraordinary rendition is concerned. But the opposite, but Mazen Nandekala has to force it on them that will be the, argument at the Court of Appeal. Reluctantly, what we prepared, Aloy Ejimako prepared based on the extraordinary rendition. In fact, he wrote everything. I was with him. We worked day and night. and all those extra issues on extraordinary rendition was, captured, and other issues which the previous lawyers, put on that issue. All those other issues failed at the Court of Appeal. If anybody read that Court of Appeal judgment, you will see that the only issue that was upheld and rendered and destroyed everything and discharged Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was solely based on extraordinary rendition. Every other issues, it wasn't the only issue that the previous lawyers tried, because they find other issues which they feel that they're okay with it, that is what's supposed to be filed at the Court of Appeal. The extraordinary rendition, they never wanted it. It was imposed on them by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. At the end, that rejected issue was the only issue that set Mazi Nnamdi Kanu free at the Court of Appeal. Now, when that happens, probably because they never wanted it, even though they went ahead and started celebrating what they never know about or what they criticize. But people did not know that if tomorrow people are saying that they got Mazi Nnamdi Kanu discharged, they won at the Court of Appeal. They know nothing about extraordinary rendition. They never participated or written anything on extraordinary rendition because they know nothing about it. It was a brainchild of Aloy Ejimako, and I who assisted him in every areas he needed to put it up, and that was what gave victory at the Court of Appeal. So when that happened, instead of them to pursue the discharge, because once the Court of Appeal said that this man is not supposed to be facing trial by any court in Nigeria, therefore he was discharged, he becomes a free man from that day. He's supposed to, leave the detention. I haven't recorded that victory. But these people because these people, the previous lawyer, were in charge. We were not in charge. We were not the one that's, in charge at that Court of Appeal. They are the one. I am talking about Michael Sokome and Ifeanyi Ejiofor. They are the one that were in charge. But when that judgment was given, they did nothing to enforce that judgment for the, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to walk out freely, haven't, gotten that judgment till Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was there till after 8 days before the government, the prosecution, they brought, serve Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stay of, execution, file a stay of execution. When they file that stay of execution, now they say who comes to equity must come with clean hands. You are asking the court to stay the judgment that someone have gotten, and you never obey that judgment, because from that day that judgment was given, it's supposed to release him. Now obeying that judgment of the court. But you did not obey that judgment of the court. You kept him, and still asking that same court that gave that judgment to stay that judgment, and nothing was done till after eight days, when they finalized their motions and filed the stay of execution. When they filed it, then those lawyers that were representing him, Chief Michael Sokome and Ifeanyi Ejiofor, they went and they filed their own response to, a counter to that their motion. Now, you find a motion, a counter to that motion. Now, the courts now set out another panel from different from the panel that gave that judgment to now. And mind you, know that There is nothing like you cannot file a stay of execution in a criminal matter. Stay of execution only known to civil matters. Court
Absolutely.
cannot now charge someone of criminal matter. You now bring a motion for stay of that discharge. It is unknown to our legal jurisprudence here. It's unknown to our legal jurisprudence. So, but these people who are the lawyers that are, representing, I don't know, because will I say it's a mistake or will I say it's intentional? Someone brought a motion asking, stay of execution in a criminal matter. Now, what they did, they filed their own counter to that motion. In the ab initio, that motion is not supposed to be, heard. If I'm to be, the lead counsel here, I will argue that in fact they don't even have it's unknown to law for them to bring a motion asking the court to stay a judgment in a criminal matter. The best they could have done is to file appeal to that judgment. You go and appeal.
Absolutely.
You go and appeal, not to file you can only file a stay in a civil matter where in a civil matter the courts have given judgment in that civil case. You file a stay of execution pending the appeal for that to preserve the rest pending the determination of the appeal. That happens only in civil matters. But it is only in Mazen Nandekali case that such a thing, played out. And the lawyers who were there, were, I don't know how I would describe it, and they played to it. Then these people, haven't made that mistake in that first step of, accepting, them filing a stay in a criminal matter. When they responded to their own affidavits, these lawyers were, in their own affidavit that made the Court of Appeal to now grant that stay of execution was that in their judgment, in their ruling on that stay of execution, they said that the affidavit of Ifeanyi Ejiofor is the lawyer of Mazen Nandekal that is representing Mazen Nandekal in that appeal. Also, the post is the deponent to the affidavit of their counter affidavit to that motion. In most of his paragraph of the affidavit was, full of hearsay evidence. People may not understand what is hearsay evidence. Hearsay evidence is inadmissible.
Absolutely.
It's not admissible in court. You cannot come and be, when you are, Barrister Iiykeobed, you know him very well. You have been, all the information that, Barrister Iiykeobed have been giving you. He's giving you directly. You have been getting that information directly from him. When you want to put up a defense to what Barrister Ike was, I've been telling you. You said one Chioma or one Cheka told me that Barrister Iiykeobed said this. You are now reporting. You are now reporting what Barrister Obed said through somebody. You are not reporting that Barrister Iiykeobed told you directly, but you are saying that someone told you that Barrister Iiykeobed told you. That means it's a hearsay evidence. That was what.
To bring Barrister Ike to court, unless you're going to bring
Yes.
Barrister Ike to court to come and say it
Yes.
in court.
Yes, but this is an affidavit deposition. You understand? If you are not giving oral witness, what you are
Yes.
is affidavit deposition. So that affidavit deposition, you have already stated it in affidavit that this person told you what this person said. It is a hearsay evidence. It is a hearsay evidence. Based on that affidavit, the Court of Appeal now granted federal government stay and said that the affidavit of Ifeanyi Ejiofor was based on hearsay evidence. And that was how Court of Appeal granted that stay of execution and nullified that judgment, that extraordinary edition judgment. So even hearsay evidence is what is taught in even in a LLB in university. As somebody who is studying law, is a 200 level course, 300 level course. You understand? Every aspirant to the bar, every lawyer who wants to become a lawyer that have not even gone to law school knows that hearsay evidence is not admissible. You cannot be writing affidavit and putting hearsay evidence, hearsay depositions. But lawyers of that magnitude, of that status, of that stature, depose an affidavit that's covered with hearsay evidence. So was it intentional for that case to fail in the first place, or what? That question, is left for the Biafrans to answer. So that was right. So
Yes,
after that, now that matter was now appealed, to the Supreme Court, which was the final court, in the land. So when that case got to the Supreme Court now held that referred that case back to the trial court. So when they referred the case back to the trial court, and they said that in their judgment, they condemned the extraordinary edition, even though they said that the case should go back to trial. My Lord Justice again condemned that extraordinary edition, and even said that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu never jumped bail, that it was the Nigerian government that carried out attack to the home of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to kill him, and they have to run for his life, that they are the one that chased him out. In that manner, you cannot say he have jumped bail, because they pursue him, they came to kill him, and he's leave. So therefore, even went ahead and said that for the trial court to revoke his bail, that the trial court, that judge, is suspicion. That is his impartiality is in suspect. So this is the ways of the court of the Supreme Court. Now clearing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu of jumping bail, clearing him, putting the blame on the federal government of Nigeria for now came to kill him, and they have to leave and run for his life. In that manner, then the judges were abreast with all these facts and still went ahead and revoked his bail, meaning that the impartiality of that judge is questionable. So that was it. And referred that case back to the trial court. And he said that many other issues can be raised at the trial court, meaning that those things, when the case is now commenced again, that every issue that the defendants feel that they can raise it, meaning that they can raise issue of the procedural nature of trial, how Mazen Nandeka was brought into the country, even though the Supreme Court nullified it, but they said other issues can be raised. It can be raised for the fact that the court has been, the Supreme Court referred the case back to the trial court, does not mean that the trial should go on in absence of the procedures or a violation of his, the rights that accrue to a person facing trial. He must be given adequate time to defend himself. He must, have a lawyers of his own choice. His lawyer, unfettered, access to his lawyers, and give him ample opportunities to now prepare for his defense. But all these things were not, restricted when he was in DSS. If we go there to, to have a client's attorney's discussion, they have listening gadgets, listening to all we are discussing. So before we can, put up our defense, how the strategies we are going to do is already in the hands of a prosecution. Therefore, the right of the accused person to defend himself is breached. So in that case, he cannot go into the trial. So these are what we are battling throughout over 1 year. That case was referred back to Binta that Aloy Ejimako was, leading. So no trial went on. We stopped the trial, saying that Mazen Nandeka cannot go into trial if some certain issues were not cleared off. We brought several preliminary objections that we now have to be decided before to see whether Nandeka can stand trial or not. And in having the court saw that those preliminary objections we brought is very germane. And once the court heard those preliminary objections and decided on it judiciously and judicially, that will be end of the trial of Mazen Nandeka. But we were battling this thing over 1 year till the point Binta was recused, to go into the trial, and the case was remitted back to the, to Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to reassign that case to another judge because of the bias. Now, when that case was reassigned to Justice James Omotosho, that was when Agabi and the host of SAN came into the matter. Even though when they came, Agabi came and said that our own initial plan, the team led by Aloy Ejimako, was that certain issues, those preliminary objections that we raised for over 1 year, that we are the court of, we are the Binta's court, that we are, stop the trial, that those issues must be raised at the James Omotosho's court for them to determine his jurisdiction to go into this case, into this trial, because jurisdiction is the life wire of every case. When the courts last the jurisdiction to try an accused person, you cannot go into that matter in the first place. So we saw the need that they don't have jurisdiction in the first place to try this case. By the way, Mazen Nandeka was brought into this country. This extraordinary rendition, in a simple term, is kidnap, is abduction. That is the simplest word for extraordinary rendition. Mazen Nandeka was kidnapped from Kenya. It was abducted from Kenya. The laws which Nigeria is signatory to the international treaties that did not permit Nigeria to go outside once a fugitive crosses the border of Nigeria. You need what is called extradition to bring him back to the country for him to stand trial. So if it's not by extradition, it is abduction, it is kidnap. So in that case, if you bring someone in that manner, the court will lack jurisdiction to try him, because in the first place he wasn't brought through extradition. So Mazen Nadika wasn't brought into this country through extradition. He was kidnapped. He was abducted. So on that grounds, on that note, the court lacks jurisdiction in ab initio. So this question has to be decided, look into, because the Supreme Court say other issues can be raised. So meaning that issue of his extraordinary extradition can be raised. So which issues that that would stop his trial, but James Omotosho ignore all these things. Even when Mazen Natikalu were after, when we told Agabi these are the routes we have to go, Agabi said no, he has his own method. If we look at from the beginning of that trial at the Omotosho's call, we are not the one leading. It was Agabi and about 7 SAN. So when SAN took over case, we will just be there, most of the time, when you try to bring in your own advice, they will see it as if they are the SAN, they know better. So all they were doing is what they felt or what they feel that is the best. So when we saw and Mazen saw that the way they are going cannot work out after no case submission, because after they led their witnesses and we cross-examined their witnesses, and it was found, from the evidences that they led, that they never presented anything that would warrant Mazen Nandeka to enter to defend himself, because they have never made out any case against Mazen Nandeka. That is that warranted us to file a no case submission. No case submission means that the prosecution did not present any case against the accused person that warrant him to enter into defense, that warrant him to defend himself. You understand? So after demolishing all the evidences that they came to court with, and it was not in any way found that there is any evidence holding Mazen Nandeka to what they accuse him of. So we find that no case submission. Ordinarily, they're supposed to, the court supposed to uphold that no case submission, but he now rejected it, and has rejected it. So that was when we knew that there is a monkey hand in the soup. So at that point in time, it has become crystal clear, very audible to the deaf and visible to the blind, that there is where these people are heading to. That became very clear, because that's no case submission that was rejected. It was shocking and surprising that where case was not made out. And now and the way he's going about that he should conclude the case immediately, enter the way, we now know that they have already planned what they want to do. So at that point in time,
Mazi, when the matter was going on, okay, from my own end, I was like, there is no case here. Okay, these people have not given the courts enough to convict Mazen Namdekano. So, and when you guys opted for those submission case, I'm like you, this is it. This is the end of the matter. Because here in South Africa, under Section 174 of the Criminal Procedure Act, if the state, did not prove enough that a court would be able to convict, then of course the court will just strike no case. There is no case here, and they will
Yes.
free the the accused person. So I was actually hoping on that, you know. And when this man was keep on pushing, I want to finish this case. I want to finish this case. I'm like, wow, something is amiss.
Yes.
Why the rush? You know. But then, man, I want to ask you this last question, very important, before we begin to summarize on this. I'm just going to read this very quickly. A repealed law has no force or effect unless the repealing legislation specifically preserves its application to certain situation. Any decision based solely on a law that no longer exists may be legally incorrect and can be challenged on appeal or judicial review. So, Maz, I want to ask here, what are you guys going to do about this? Because we know quite well that there was a repealed law that was used, in the judgment against Mazen Namdekano, and you guys going to take it up in this appeal. Please go ahead.
Let me not because when the matter is still in court for determination, it becomes sub judice. But I can tell you that the issue of repeal law forms part of our grounds of appeal.
Beautiful.
Yes, forms part of our grounds of appeal. So it's left. We have already canvassed our arguments therein, and in our laws, no offense, if not prescribed in a written law, like you cannot convict someone on a offense that is not prescribed prescribed in a written law. That offense is, we call it, is unknown to law. So if you now charging someone to an offense which was not prescribed in the law, it means that that is not an offense. So, and if such offense was an offense before, it was in a written law, and later repealed, it means that that offense is no longer in existence. You cannot charge someone on an offense that has been repealed, and that is, when you say repeal, another word for repeal is abolish. That has been abolished. So in that case, you cannot say, because as of yesterday, let's say stealing is an offense yesterday, and today someone stole, and the law today say that stealing is no longer an offense. You cannot say because it was an offense yesterday, therefore you will convict that person today for stealing. No, because as of yesterday that was an offense, but today that law has been repealed, abolished. Therefore, you cannot hold someone. If you now convict that person today committing that offense, what you mean that is you apply retrospective effects. That is convicting somebody on offense he committed after, and that wasn't no longer an offense. So a repeal law, that was why some of the charges that were Mazen Nanka were facing, we have been under the laws that created it then, has been repealed. And if that offense has to be tried, they have to take the stance of that offense as of today is being tried. So long as Nothing that case, even if assuming you have started trial, conclusive trial, waiting for judgment before those are, laws were repealed. Now, when you convict him based, sentence him based on the sentencing of today, not on the sentencing of that old law that have been repealed. You cannot sentence him then based on that, the punishment of that old law. You will now give him the punishments created under the new law, not under the old law. That is it. But when they repeal that law and create new, the new laws, that case, because Mazen's case has not been concluded, has not even commenced. In fact, to mark it up, when that case was sent back to trial court, it start de novo. It means that it start afresh. That is what is called de novo. It start afresh. So as it start afresh, you are now going back as if the case is starting at that day. So you now begin to invoke the new laws that enforce the law that is enforced. Take for example, we have the 1979 Constitution here in Nigeria. After 1979 Constitution was repealed, abolished, and replaced by 1999 Constitution as amended, nobody will go to court now and quoting 1979 Constitution, relying on it. It has become abolished. It has become repealed. So what is enforced now is 1999 Constitution as amended. So if you go to court and be quoting 1979 Constitution, you will be looking at, because that law, they don't remember that 1979 Constitution is no longer a good law. It's no longer enforced. What is enforced now is 1999 Constitution. So that is it. So that was why Mazen Nankado was shouting in the courts for people to, that do not know, show me the law. Under which law is it being tried? Is it under the repealed law or under the new law? Because if we are accusing somebody, charging somebody to an offense, you must tell him the law. The offense is committed, and the law that prescribe that an offense. But when you are unable to tell him the law that prescribe that offense, it becomes you have not even made out any offense against him. Therefore, he does not know which offense you are charging him for. So that's why I say, show me the law. Under which law is it being tried?
Masbi, can you still hear me?
Yes, I am hearing you.
Oh, sorry. I think it was a network issue. Please continue.
Okay, I was not hearing. I said, I was talking about the issue of repeal. I say repeal law is no longer a law. Once a law is repealed, it's no longer a law. It can only put the law in force. That is the current law. I give an example of the 1979 Constitution of Nigeria, which was replaced or repealed by the 1999 Constitution as amended. Are you with me?
Go ahead, Master. I can hear you.
So
loud and clear.
The 1979 Constitution, no one goes to court now and start quoting 1979 Constitution, because that has been repealed by the 1999 Constitution as amended. So if you go to court today in Nigeria and be quoting 1979 Constitution, relying on 1979 Constitution, you are just presumed. Some of us or some people in the court will be miliacally bewildered. Will be, confused. That is what I mean. So for quoting a law that has been repealed, that has been abolished, so now it's no longer a good law. It's no longer a law in force. So the law in force is 1999 Constitution. It's no longer the 1979 Constitution. So when Mazen Nnamdi was charged with, terrorism, offenses and we are repealed, so it's supposed to be, prosecuted under the current law, not the repealed law. And most of the offenses did not disclose the offense he committed, which law prohibits it. That was why he was shouting, "Show me the law." For those who did not know, under which law am I being tried? You have to tell me what law I am being tried. Because they know that for them to tell them they are trying it, that is against them to be trying him under a repeal law.
Yeah, that's
Now,
why he's not even answering.
yes. So now tell me, under what law am I being tried? Show me the law. So this forms a part of the grounds of our appeal. So it is very, very laughable that that judgment is is I can tell you is so laughable. In my years of practice, I can't say that is a good judgment. The judgment is beclouded with a lot of injustices. Yes, it has a lot of question marks, where the courts went on a voyage of discovery, giving judgment based on his own assumption, not what was presented before the court. Hello?
Go ahead, Maz. I can hear you.
Okay. The court went on a voyage of discovery. You cannot determine a case outside what was presented before the court. But you saw in that judgment where the court went on voyage of discovery, adding how he was in enmity with Fulani with the North, how he was in enmity in the with the US, UK, forming his own opinion.
The court was the investigator, the witness, and then...
Yes. So it was a sham trial. You understand? So we cannot say this is a good, justice has been served. No, it is all about injustices. It's all about injustice. Just to carry out what has been already determined or agreed. So, and we cannot fold our hands because we are, ministers in the temple of justice, to allow, injustice to reign over justice. Because in our law, it said that it is better for 99 criminals to be set free than for one innocent person to be, convicted. So you better set 99 criminals free than for one innocent person to be, convicted for what he did not know.
All right, Mazi, thank you very much for that. I mean, of course, our people has been educated, and I'm sure that people now understand where we are with regards to, the matter or the appeal of Onyendu. Mazi, can I have your parting shots? Any word for Biafrans before we let you go? Yes, Mazi, still there? Can you hear me?
Okay. the Biafrans and lovers of freedoms all over the world. Um, I can assure you. Hello,
Yes, go ahead, Mazi.
can you
We're
hear
hearing
me?
you
I
loud
can
and
hear you
clear.
very well. Can you hear me
Go ahead,
too?
loud and clear. Go ahead.
Hello,
Yes, Mazi, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
are you there?
Yes, I am here and I can hear you. I think it's the network, but we can hear
Okay,
you.
okay. Um, okay. The fellow Biafrans, the lovers of freedom. Okay, the lovers of freedom all over the world. I think the network is interrupting the
Yes, it's interrupting, but we're
my.
hearing you. If you can continue, we're hearing you, Mazi.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Like I'm saying, the lovers of freedom all over the world, the great Biafrans. I want to encourage each and every one of us listening to us at this program here that we will keep our fire burning. We will keep fighting for injustice. We will keep walking on the road to freedom. We will not surrender to the enemies, and we will not sell the justice to the author of injustice. We have to be resilient. We have to keep the unity moving to make sure that we actualize our dreams. Because for those who think that Mazen Nandekar is today incarcerated, just like Nelson Mandela of South Africa, then during the apartheid era, he stood his ground, was fighting for freedom, not just for him, but for the South Africans, for the apartheid regime, for the oppression of the whites, against the South Africans. And he was in prison for 27 years. And he stood his grounds. And after said and done, he was he regained his freedom and set the South Africans today free from the white colonialism, from the white oppression, and they were emancipated. Today, the Mazen Nandekar is likened to Nelson Mandela. He's a great leader. He's a leader that has, sacrificed a lot and stood his ground, has never deviated from what he's known for, from fighting for the emancipation of in fact, not just for the Biafrans, but entire black race, is a great leader that has never betrayed the confidence or the struggle. So he's there today just for the freedom of the people, his people, and beyond. So if anyone sees it that is just there for himself, no, that person is getting it wrong. Because if Mazen Nandekal were to be, fighting for his own interests, he wouldn't have been there. Yes, he will not be there. So because he is fighting for, and we say that injustice to one is injustice to all. So if you feel that he's there, he's doing it, but I can tell you that the whole millions of people, both, in fact, it's no longer just for the Biafrans, because today all that Mazina the cat has predicted has and even both the entire nation, entire country, both Hausa, Fulani, Yorubas have confirming it today that this man is not the problem of Nigeria, but a solution to the problems of Nigeria. So I can assure the Biafrans, the lovers of freedom, that even today, some of the other tribes are calling that how are they wish that Mazen Nandekal come from their tribe, because this is a man that have stood his ground, without any iota of doubt in the struggle, and is a real freedom fighter. He's a man of his word. He's a man with full courage. He's a man to be reckoned with. So I can assure you that sooner than later, Mazen Nankaru will regain his freedom. He will join us
All right. We're losing the
outside
barrister.
there, and in fact, the the joy will come at last, and we will be free from every oppression, from every distorted and all manners of injustice that have meted against in fact the entire Biafrans and beyond, who will be, you know, uplifted. So, lovers of freedom, great Biafrans, I encourage you, those of you that are outside there gossiping, there's no doubt that even when Christ was here on the earth, even among the disciples, there are Judas. There are people who feel that they can go about and gossip it. There's no problem. But one thing I have to, one thing I want to tell you that is either you imbibe
It's network is dealing with us. Network is dealing with us, but obviously we are bringing this program to an end. Let's wait for the barrister to come up, and then we will finalize this program. It has been indeed an intriguing program, honestly, I must tell you. We have been lectured and, of course, informative in terms of how the legal teams of Onyendu, Mazenam Kano will be proceeding, in this legal battle that is ahead of us. Of course, it is the appeal of Onyendu, Mazenam Kano, and we have no doubt in our minds that justice will prevail at the end of the day, and Onyendu, Mazenam Kano will be free. We have lost the barrister, and I don't know if he will still come back in order to finalize. But if we don't get him back, of course, we will call it a day. And of course, I want to thank Biafrans all around the world, for joining us this evening. And of course, it is indeed a good lecture that you were supposed to know about, because there are many questions being asked by a lot of people in terms of what is happening with the appeal of our great leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And of course, this is why the barrister, was here this evening to update us and to let us know that, the appeal has been filed. And of course, they are waiting for the Nigerian state to file their response, which they are not coming to the party. Therefore, in other words, they have also filed, another motion, for the courts to continue to hear the appeal. And we believe that very soon the appeal will be heard. All right. So I think the network was so bad, and the barrister, is no longer coming back. And we thank him so much for educating us this evening. We thank him so much for opening our eyes, because this is indeed an eye opener. What happened this evening. He have opened our eyes, and we have had, a very legal conversation on things as they happened previously, and how those things are going to be corrected as we head to the appeal courts. All right, I think he's back. Yeah, let me bring him back. My goodness me. I can't even, let me bring back. Uh, let's bring the barrister back. There you go. And so he can finalize. I'm trying to bring the barrister back. Network is so bad, I must tell you. Sorry, barrister. I think we lost you because of network.
Yes, the network was bad. I think I was talking, but it's like you are not hearing me. Mm.
Yes, because yeah, we're like, okay, go ahead, barrister, and finalize what you were saying before you were interrupted by the network. Please go ahead.
Okay, I was saying that Mazen Nandekado is a great leader, not just for the Biafrans, but is a great leader to the black race, just like Nelson Mandela. Mazen Nandekado is incarcerated, is in prison today, not just because of himself, but for fighting for the freedom of the oppressed all over the entire nation. He's not there just for himself because he's fighting for himself. No, because he wants people to be free from oppression. He wants things to be, be okay to everyone, not just because of your race or because of your color or because of your religion or for whom you are or whom you know. So He's a man that believes in justice. He's a man that wants justice for everyone. So the great Biafrans, it is not time for gossip. It is not time for distraction. It is time for us to rally around and queue behind his idea and queue behind to see that justice is gotten. So Nelson Mandela, when he was in prison for 27 good years, we are not gossiping, running around, criticizing him, talking all manners of rubbish. They were together, doing fully well. He was fighting for the betterment of the South Africans, just like what Mazen Nandekalo is doing today, fighting for the people, his people, fighting for the oppressed. So it is time for people to realize that Mazen Nandekalo has never, ever in any way deviated from what is known for: a freedom fighter, emancipator of the oppressed. So he has never in any way betrayed the struggle. Rather, it is people that betraying him. But like he said, that he knew all this. He didn't just come into this by mistake. He's determined to get the freedom. If not, if it's just for himself or for his personal game, he wouldn't have been there. I can assure you. I'm very close to him. We'll see him. We've been with him. He's not someone that thinks about himself. He's someone that thinks about the people, his people. Even right there in prison in Sokoto, when he comes, people visit him, he instead of you pitying him, he's the one pitying people, consoling people, telling people to be strong, that victory is going to be ours. That is to tell you the true leader he is. He's not a selfish leader. So some of you that are out there, leave what you're supposed to be doing, fighting for the freedom of your people, for the freedom of Mazen Nandekalo. I can assure you that sooner than later, Mazen Nandekalo will regain his freedom. He will join us outside here. And those of you that are gullible ones, they're gossiping, it is better for you to retract your step, to take, advise yourself. If we are deceived before and now haven't listening to us, to retract your step and take your time and do the needful. But if you feel otherwise, think otherwise, that you want to be on the side of gossiping and carrying out all manners of attacks, I don't think no one cares about it, and it can never deter us from fighting, or even in any way. I can assure you, maybe people think that Mazen Nandekalo doesn't care about this. He's determined to, carry out what he believes. So the earlier you retract your step and advise yourself properly, but if you feel that you cannot, you are free. And those of you fighting, feeling that you can now outsmart yourself, you cannot run faster than your shadow, or thinking that what you are called to come in to participate, you cannot take the lead. You will now think that you can, you will become the Alpha and Omega. Somebody who hire you, now you are thinking that you are expelling somebody who hired you. Is it possible now? You know that it's not possible. The best you can do is to go and form your own group or your own organization. Go and form your own and do whatever you want to do. But you see, in this one that you are hired, if we are fired, you leave. There are people who were there before you. When they asked to step aside for another people, that was what gave you opportunity to come in to serve. Some people have come and gone, and we are asked to step aside, and quietly they step aside. So you cannot think you will be there and be doing your own wish. If it's not okay by you, there is one 33 kV transformer that is located to your located around you, and then you can hug it and end the story by yourself. This is not akụkọ mama Ngozi na ndị ya dị ya ha na-agba na egwu suru ugede. So the better you know it, the earlier you know it, the better for you. Thank you, the lovers of freedom.